Before we get into this morning's live, I would like to go over a quick overview of what is going on, especially with what's transpiring with Tether and how we had a retracement. This is actually a very, very good thing that's happened to us for cryptocurrency. We were going way too far unabated, and it's always good to have these corrections. I got stopped out of a few positions that I had to try to reverse rally. It was like a $70 hit I took last night. I mean, obviously, I'm still at $450 in the leverage, but it's allowed me an opportunity here to be able to see the setup here once again and reformulate it, see where the next possible strike is at, and we're going to discuss that this morning. Could have been much worse for the copy trading for me personally if I didn't have stop losses on. It could have been like a $175 hit this morning instead of an 80. But we had a nice reversal here, and I'll show you guys the charts. It actually sets up pretty nicely. Remember, Tether printed $2 billion yesterday. United States Digital Tether, the Tether Treasury they minted $2 billion in Tether, which means by some miracle, again, like we said last week, once they printed the Tether, we had an immediate 10 to 15% correction market wide. And what happened? We surged higher. I think this is a big optics, especially with that Tether being minted. And we're going to discuss here where you guys tell me we should buy the next copy trade. We'll look at that here this morning as well, because there's an ominous moment here. We could possibly buy it here. And we could, but we're going to try to figure out a spot here if there's copy traders in the audience, but also from a leverage position, because I feel like we could possibly just pull a position. We came down, we hit the support, we created this descending consolidation. Now it's almost like you wait to come down, see if you can get a nice bounce at $1.27 or see if it comes all the way down to $1.15. We're kind of in no man's land. So if I'm going to open it, it'd be somewhere around $1.28. And then I'm also looking at Ethereum, because I think Ethereum, once this correction finishes, and it's come down now to this consolidation, we got rejected on resistance, came all the way back down to support. So if we sold it out, bought it back, tried to hold it, it cost us like, I think $18 overnight on Ethereum. It was the XRP one that's very volatile to trade and leverage. That's why it's a miracle that we're up, I don't know, 300 and something percent and $440 right now, because it's so hard to trade XRP in that 5x, 10x, 20x setting. But from spot, if you haven't bought XRP and you were buying it, you wanted to buy it yesterday, when it got up to $1.60, 10,000 tokens would be $16,000. Right now, 10,000 tokens is $13,500. So if you were going to buy yesterday, you have a $2,500 savings now on 10,000 tokens. But we need to see if this is even the right time to strike, because I could certainly see us having a little more volatility to the downside real quick, confirming these bottoms and then pushing out. But the news of the day here is the Tether Treasury. This is going to leave it very open for interpretation here, because USDT minted, let's see. I gotta type in USDT. It was 2 billion. 2 billion. And it'll come up right away. I gotta type it in right. I don't know what I'm doing here. I just had this up. I have USD. I was gonna say USDT 2 billion. Here we go. Tether Treasury mints 2 billion USDT on Ethereum. So this is this is interesting. So Tether Treasury. Now I don't want to read it through Binance. Tether Treasury. We'll read through this how they issued. We're going to have to do it through there. They probably have a better article. So I don't know how many people are watching have seen this. Jorge, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP, or the second month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. I really appreciate that. Syrian, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your 3rd month plus with the XRP Meteor. Codiz or Bitcoin will drop more. We're going to definitely take a look. We'll definitely take a look. But let's timestamp this. We'll get over some news and notes, and then we'll go over exactly what we're thinking here this morning. We'll try to target if we want to try to buy a leverage trade, and our spot trades obviously are what they are. And this is part of the retracement cycle now. So please make sure to hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this live. I would be shocked if we have a 300 or 400 person live here now that we're red. This is when everybody should be paying attention because we need to see how the cycle is going to flip, or if we're going to have continuation, and we try to find all the news from a charting and news perspective to make an educated and informed decision. I decided to come on and do a live this morning so I could get the best information out there and take any questions I would have from the audience. So good morning, 9:19 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday, November 24th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Yes, Ruby, possibly printed for this next leg of the bull run. That is absolutely correct. When we look at XRP, what I've been able to formulate here on this consolidation is something like this. We just dragged it out from here, dragged it out, and then we got another hit, an evidence point here. We got a nice descending consolidation. The problem is here is, where does it bounce? Does it come all the way back down to the consolidated front, way down here at $1.16? Or does it hold this $1.25 area? Now, with the way that it created this, we talked about if it didn't come through here and $1.60 was resistance, it could bring us to $1.37 or $1.24. And it actually came all the way down to $1.28. So, I mean, technically, if you're even looking at a big retracement like we had from some of these areas, we broke down out of this consolidation, which you could have measured it out here after the further evidence, because this is possibly what's happening right now. And this is what we have to wonder. Is this actually what's happening and we had an overzealous takedown? You know, and that's why I'm wondering, where is the best spot to approach this position? Is it because you have a topping reversal that was starting? Is it best to approach it and say we're going to come back and hold this $1.37? Or is it best to try to ride it down? I'm in between here. I'm in between. I could certainly open a position here from a standpoint of we already came down here, and then you could have a stop loss. But again, with XRP, it's so damn hard to figure out where the right spot is, because a breach of here, you're looking at about a 13% drop to about that's about a 18-cent drop. So what I'm thinking is to take the Ethereum route, simply because it looks like it's still flagged. And if it breaks down, you can monitor the risk a little bit better. Even if it came all the way to the bottom, we're talking about if we did a $170 trade, we're talking about a $45 risk. As XRP, because of the way it sets up and how volatile it is, and there's a lot more risk reward, obviously. But when you're doing it from a standpoint of, I've got a 5x utility wall, well, technically, we didn't even come down here to retest this. The fact we came all the way down here, we talked about it when we got rejected, or we were pushing up on Friday at $1.60. We thought it was going to get hot Friday night, and I said there could be a wall at $1.60, and then if we get rejected, and unfortunately we did, created a topping reversal, that we could come down to $1.37, or we've never tested $1.24. And right now it would be $1.20. So I'm thinking if I get back in an XRP trade, like a leverage trade, it would have to come down here and back test this $1.22. And then I definitely want to get back into an Ethereum trade, but it's hard to tell exactly where I would want to do it because we rode out so good. And, you know, once you have the reversal, we were up, I think in total, $545. We got up to for a high, or $535, something like that. And now it's back down to around $445. But that simply happened from the rounding of the top. We didn't get the very top, but we were able to increase our leverage portfolio by 300 and something% in the process. But at the same time, I want to be back in it, but I'm trying to find the most likely opportunity for this bounce. It's either going to be from right here. But that looks like a topping reversal. So you would want to see a pattern reset. So, I mean, it could be $1.22. Now, the only reason I'm not saying 91 is because of that minted tether. Now, if they didn't mint that $2 billion, I would say absolutely. If we get a rejection at 137, which we did this morning, I could totally see that. But now with this $2 billion, this could easily reverse. So I'm having a very difficult time trying to figure out in my own head where I want to do this and try not to have an emotional response. So, in my opinion, if I was looking at this from a non-biased perspective, I would want to see it it probably won't hold this from a non-biased perspective. But from a biased perspective, we could say it's in a descending consolidation, descending triangle. We're in that rising channel a little bit that it created, a couple resistance, long layer support. But we need to see what the anticipation here is for the market. Is this close enough coming down to $1.28 when it needs the back test that at $1.22 roughly, $1.23? I mean, it's close. It's definitely close. And this is why I wanted to do this in a live instead of a update, because I have a lot of speculation in my own head. Theta says, thank you, Tom, for streaming on a Sunday morning. Just opened YouTube. Glad you're on. I appreciate that, my friend. Codeezer says 65 is modest, can go from 65 to, oh, talking to someone. UK Phil, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6 months with the XRP predictor. 130 range, it will bounce. Yeah, I don't disagree with that 130 range. I don't disagree with what you're saying. That's why I said it's tough right now. Would you take the gamble here, or would you try to wait for some more pronounced principles here? It's hard because that 2 billion tether is going to come into play, and you can see how we bounced all the way down here on this wick. Now, is that an exhaustion wick? Do we have to come back down here, or do we come to that $1.25? These are the questions I'm asking this morning, because that's the tough question. These are the tough questions. So, and I appreciate, oh wow, we have a lot of people in here. Make sure to hit that like button. Only 69 likes right now and 250 people. That's honestly not going to get the job done. We're trying to push this on YouTube. It's a Sunday morning. If you appreciate the work I do, hell, if you respect me at all, let's see those like buttons go up. I understand that we had a correction, but remember, we came up from 48 cents. So 48 to 160, and now we're leveling off a little bit around 134, 135. That's definitely Tom. I'm going to take a big gamble on these coins. Thank you for the analysis. I appreciate you, but more now. That's what we're speculating on. If now would be the time, if you're taking some kind of a leverage, or if you're looking to add or whatever, but it's way up here. I mean, the only thing that's keeping me from re-entering right now in a leverage is the fact we came all the way down here. Man, it's so tough because it seems like we would want to test 125. I feel like this was a rejection here, possibly, that we needed at 137. That's the cup and handle resistance that we first had. Now, if we come back here and retest that gap at 123, we talked about this when it happened. We had a gap, a pretty alarming gap here around that 125, 124 area. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's possible. We even have a gap down here at 91. So, how big of a backlash do you think they want to do? And then some say double bottom here. If we double bottom here, I think someone's saying a double bottom here would be bullish. Unless you're saying this is the double bottom from here, swinging around, and now we're going to pull out. Because if you want to speculate, we could do this. If you want to speculate right now, we could absolutely do this. And that would be kind of like a descending channel we formed, which are technically bullish consolidations. But again, that $1.25 area is alarmingly standing in front of me right now. So I think I'd be willing to take a shot at $1.25 possibly on that back test. On Ethereum, I think I would need it at... If I was looking at Ethereum, we've got little neckline rotation right here. I'd say somewhere around 3,200. That 3,200, if it could hold that, that would be an interesting spot. Like right in here. Watch this. Let me get rid of this. I'm trying to deadball this for us so that we have the optics here of what we would want to do and not have to buy in on a consolidatory front, because I hate the consolidatory front. Like yesterday, I took a gamble that XRP would hold at $1.36 or $1.40. Didn't pay off. I took it didn't pay off. Did not pay off. The day before that, and the day before that, the same exact trades paid off. But as they always say, they'll hit you with the same setups a couple times in a row until you can't figure it out, and then you get hammered. Well, fortunately for us, we play the stop loss game overnight, and it saved us. It definitely saved us a lot. Probably a 2.5 time bigger loss. We'd probably be looking at about a $200 loss this morning, if I'm being honest. Because AVE had a minimal. We gained yesterday and the day before a little bit, but then we gave some back yesterday. It was like a $20 hit. But yeah, everything is doing this consolidation. So is this the time, or do you wait for it to come back to the consolidatory tone? I think because we got a rejection up here, common sense says you would wait for Ethereum to, well, I don't know, 3,000 is a far drop though. You'd wait from resistance to support, and if this is the support area, for Ethereum, I think it's easier to make a trade because it's such a small risk reward for the risk. Because you could take out a 5x trade here and do $100 if you want. And even if it came through from here, it's a little bit bigger hit. See, that's a 40% hit though. That's $40. I'm not into all that. And even if you came down here and said, oh, I could do it at 3,239, why not just wait until 3,239 then? Something tells me that with all that money being printed, it would make sense to just continue this drop and then hit there. This is a tough spot for everybody. If you're doing something, you're going to have to make an educated and informed decision. I'm only speculating on where I would look. I think it's a little, because bull run dips are short-lived. Yep, absolutely. They are short-lived. These bull run dips are very short-lived. Remember a couple days ago, we had about a 15% pullback and we had the 1 billion minted from Tether Treasury. And usually within 24 to 48 hours of the Tether Treasury minting, you get a massive rally. This is no different in the stock market than when the USA prints money out of the and they put it through the stock market through like Tether with there's so much stuff that goes on, but that's where the printed money in the stock market, it plays the same role. But here we go. Tether Treasury mints 2 billion USDT on Ethereum. XLM bleeding out. I mean, you're saying it's bleeding out, but let's be honest. I understand the bleeding out logic. XLM's at 49 cents. Needs to back test. It went parabolic. We bought at 8 cents. Like these are if you're a long holder, these are what you have to sit through. Right now, even if it bleeds down here, it can come to 43. It can come to 41.5, and you're still at 400%. So you can take your gains if you bought it with me, and you can do whatever you want. You know, you can do whatever you want. It got up to 661%. It is coming down rather harshly right now, but it had a overzealous move. But I'm still looking for this Tether Treasury. I'm looking for this last leg of some kind of consolidator. Tom is buffering. Am I really? Okay, well, okay, everybody, let me know how that goes. I figured out a way to reset the stream in real time. So let me know if that helped with the buffering. Let me know if that helped. Because I didn't know it was buffering until someone said it. Hopefully that helped. All right, beautiful. I found in the past that really does help. So all I have to do is turn my internet off on my tablet and reset it. Yeah. So I'm glad it sounds better. So what we're looking at here this morning is if it comes down to that $1.25 mark, I think I would be willing to take like a $100 5x trade. And then Ethereum, I'm on the fence right now because I think we're going to come down a tiny bit, but with that money being minted, I'm telling you, it's so difficult right now. Look at Ethereum. That could be a double top here and it's just behind, and then it needs to come down right here. This is what I'm saying. This is a dangerous spot for me. And yeah, in the grand scheme, because of the way I do things, even if I open both positions, maybe you have a maximum of $75 risk. That's too much. I'm not going to get back my gains just because I want to try an overzealous move. I think if it was me, because it shows the alliance of maybe an M-topping reversal, I might wait for Ethereum. Now, we had a beautiful run up here, but I'm thinking if it falls out of here, maybe you do get that kind of consolidatory, you know, and then it bounces out because it certainly seems to be filling this out in a much wider landscape here. And Ethereum, remember last time they minted it on Ethereum, it dropped like 15%, 13%. So, but we're in that spot. We're down 96 bucks this morning. XRP's down 8.7%. Do we think they're going to go take out the 5X traders now at 20% or 15% and take out anybody 5X and up? Do we think they're going to try to liquidate the bunch? What do I always say? Whenever we tether, when we mint tether, it's by some miracle that the market dumps and the government can put this tether in at a beautiful ratio. Think about it. If it drops 10 to 15% market wide and they invest in it and then it goes up 25, 30% and $2 billion, but the first 15% is just getting back what they dumped off, it's a win-win. And then the last 15, 20% over the top, now they've got the 15% dump plus the 15% pump on top of the recovery. It happens every single time. So let's read this. We're at about, I don't even know how much time it's been because it reset my timer, but we started this about, 20 minutes ago. So Tether Treasury mints 2 billion USDT on Ethereum. According to O'Daily Whale, it has reported that in approximately UTC time at 1:43:11, Tether Treasury minted 2 billion USDT on Ethereum blockchain. This significant transaction was highlighted by Tether CEO Paulo Ardoño, who clarified that the minting represents an authorized but not yet issued transaction. This is what we heard last time and the time before. So it was authorized but not yet issued. So once it's issued, and we usually say it takes about 24 to 48 hours, so Sunday going into Monday, I have a very strong feeling that we could have a big pump this week. It's buffering again. What is going on here? Why is it buffering? I don't know. Is this buffering for everybody? If it's buffering for you, reset your live. My voice is choppy, so it is not just one person. Okay, so if it's choppy for you, try to restart it. Let me turn on my own live so I can hear it. So, use data, not Wi-Fi. Oh, you're talking about for the people watching. Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, I would use the data if you can. Yeah, close your lives, everybody. Close it and come back. I just restarted mine on my phone, and it sounds fine on my phone. But yeah, it's definitely it's an interesting dynamic here on YouTube. I deal with a lot of BS. I just try to do it with a smile. See, we have a lot of love and hate in the world, so I do things differently. I don't like the negativity. So I do this from a positivity over negativity. So we're helpful, not hurtful. Theta, I'm glad that worked when you closed it. Beautiful. Yep, close it and come back. Close it and come back. So, but let's finish reading this. So we want to kill them with kindness. Over hate. We believe in the light, not the darkness. We want to have all the information from an education and news perspective so we can make these decisions. And we're going to do this together. So this significant transaction was highlighted by Tether CEO Paulo Ardoño, who clarified that the minting represents an authorized but not yet issued transaction. Ardoño explained that the newly minted USDT will serve as inventory for future issuances, requests, and on-chain exchanges. There we go. The minting of such a large amount of USDT underscores Tether's ongoing role in the cryptocurrency market as a major stablecoin provider. The process of minting stablecoins like USDT involves creating digital tokens that are pegged to a stable asset, typically the US dollar, to provide liquidity and stability in the volatile crypto market. Tether's operations on the Ethereum blockchain are part of the broader strategy to maintain a robust presence across multiple blockchain platforms. This development comes amid growing scrutiny and interest in stablecoins from regulators and market participants. As stablecoins become increasingly integral to the digital economy, their issuance and management are closely watched by both the crypto community and financial authorities. Tether's transparency in communicating the purpose of this minting transaction reflects its efforts to maintain trust and clarity with its users and stakeholders. You know, if I have everything my way today, I'm going to my dad's at 1 o'clock because I want to watch the Lions game, and he's going through, I haven't really been talking about it on the air, but he's having some issues. So I'm going to go over there today, and he's I don't know. He might have to have like his arteries are a little let's put it that way. He might have a stent or something worse, open heart surgery. I don't know. So they're gonna go over some tests this upcoming week and see how bad it is. But it's something. Oh yeah, I would definitely say there's a head and shoulders formation here in XRP. If you look at this in the 45-minute, I can definitely see a head and shoulders. That's why even if it runs up here, I'm not interested in a trade just yet for leverage unless we either break out of this area. But there's such a huge price gap here. That's the problem. Like I said though, this is an area where we could technically, because of where we're at, it bounced off of here. Now, if it's going to come up, this is an area where I could take a shot. It's just like I said with XRP, if it comes down on us, it could come all the way down to that $1.25. So I want to see how many times it can, it's either going to push out of here. Like Ethereum, that's the other one. Ethereum is coming off of this low support. So that type of surgery will help. My dad and grandpa had that too. It's common and they recover and feel better after getting stent put in. Excellent. You know, that's what I'm hoping. It's just that. Price will move if it gets above 140. If it can't get back up there, then a rundown will be. Yep. But it looks like we could have put in on Ethereum a double bottom in the short term. See that W on the support structure? I could take a shot on Ethereum for very low risk here. Almost think that's what I want to do. Could you guys see that? In Ethereum, unlike XRP, we could take a shot on Ethereum and play that this holds the support. And if not, it could be a very small risk. Very small risk. No, Ethereum hasn't done anything. It's still well behind the market. Look at this. That's why I keep tugging on Ethereum. I really think it's about to have a big breakout. XRP 110. It could be. It very well could be in this. We could have those back tests way down there. But at the same time, this could have already been. We formulated a descending triangle here. And it's either going to bounce off right here, or it's going to end up back testing that $1.26. I don't think this is over, though. I don't think this is over by a long shot. I really don't, because of all that Tether being printed. I mean, I would find it hard to believe that this is just done. But hey, what do I know? What do I know? The one thing I do know is that Ethereum, because I was looking at XRP and Ethereum, I should have just been laser focused on Ethereum when it was at 3,298. But the resistance right now is 3,337. So that's that midpoint that we had coming down. And if it broke that, then we had to come back down to the uptrend. And now it's one of those things. 3,283 is not a terrible spot. Just it's got that formulation of a it looks like kind of a bull flag though a little bit. I swear these are the times when you get pounded. Yeah, definitely you want that move above for sure. You definitely want that move above. Let's take a look at this in a slightly bigger time frame. Now, if you look at it like this and we just say, because I do think that little support there actually is how we should look at this with Ethereum. We've got those resistance over the top. Now, you could look at it a little higher because we have that, but I still think it's like this. We've got that mid-tier resistance at 3,337, which right now we're locked up against. And so far, for whatever reason, that seems to be a pain in the ass spot. I would have liked to have seen it come down a little farther, though, if this was going to create a reversal. I would have, because that's not a bullish Gartley the way it's set up. But I hope it holds. For me, for the positivity in my community, for just the outright observation and the, the mindset, I hope it goes up. I've got crypto coming out the yin-yang that's already gone up so much that I'm not sure exactly, when I'm looking at things, but we need healthy corrections. And the cool thing about most of this, like DGB's down 6.3%, it could be 30, 25, but overnight, a lot of these decided to have this little overs. Look at ZGB. Right before this drop happened, it went up to 1.23. So now you ask yourself, where are the logical targets for DGB? Never back tested back here. Got a nice uptrend at 0.009. It's almost like the market's telling us, be patient. We have these little rising channels. Let's let it settle. And then if it's meant to be, we'll continue going up. But let's be patient here and actually watch to see if it's setting up properly. Because I could totally see a lot of people going long here because they've seen the tether printed. And from a leverage standpoint, we got to see something real quick for XRP. Let's take a look at the liquidations. I think this is going to be spectacular this morning to look at. Just spectacular. And I appreciate everybody who's tuning in with me on this Sunday morning. Because I come on, bullish or bearish, I'm still going to be here. Just because we went down yesterday and consolidated, we didn't fall out. And even if we did, we started at 40. I bought at 34 cents. So I could make an educated and informed decision here and say, you know what? I'm just not into it anymore. And I could sell, but that's not where I'm at right now. Not even close. Plus, then you have the capital gains. But look at this. If you're looking for a move up, you're looking for liquidations of the longs. 15.56 million were liquidated in longs compared to 3.61 million. You see the differential and disparity? That's what you're looking at for continuation. You're trying to clear out all the leverage traders. And that doesn't count the ones who got stopped out. That's just pure liquidations. If they counted stop outs, you'd add me to that number on XRP. Because I think I stopped out for $30-something loss, which sucked. But it is what it is. Check the total market cap and draw a fib retracement from 21 high and low. Watch the 72 carefully. Yeah, that's one way to do it. I don't really like to use the Fibonacci. I just use my own freehand. But yeah, I definitely know which line you're talking about in 21. You can go all the way back. I think I have it. Right here. You got the support in 21 as well. That's 22. You got this support. This is a big area that we need to hold, and that's why I have the 3.33. That's Ethereum. But that's a big one too. It needed to break on Ethereum from back in 21, which it didn't do. The total going back. That was such a massive descending structure. But I'm going to redo all of this now. I'm going to get rid of all this for the total. I think we're going to redo this together. I think we're going to redo this. Because we had so much stuff from the last couple years that has played out now. Especially this nice consolidation. So I got a lot of stuff on here that we've worked on. But this will be good to do together. So, I mean, it was a very, very long uptrend. Very, very long consolidation. Okay. So now, I just want to draw this across real quick. I just want to see something. So you got two resistance points, and we are very clearly over. I mean, there's no doubt about that. We are very clearly over. So that's a good sign. The fact from 21, we've got this, and now it seems to be a downtrending resistance tug, if you look at it like that. Now, here's the problem, if we really want to have a big correction, or if we're just back testing. Like for me, I like to look at the grand pattern. So if you have uptrending support coming from here, you have this big downtrending resistance. That is a clear and a concise breakout. Have we had any back tests of the clear and concise breakout, in our opinion? And all these technical moves have already measured out, so we have to restart. Everything I had drawn out has already hit. So is there a clear and concise move there? 100K represents the big boss. She is just doing the... Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say 100K is the big boss because the technical target on Bitcoin is around... Depends where you look at it. It's either 107 or if you want to take the very long push on the cup depth, it's like 122K. But, you know, we've come up from... It's been an incredible run. But anyhow, so if we look at this from this standpoint... Oh, yeah. From a romantic standpoint, that's absolutely the boomer bust spot. From a total crypto market cap spot, are we out of our minds here? Does it look like it needs a better retest? Like the market's going to have a shimmy. I think the market could have a shimmy. Whoever said to go back to 21 with the fib, this is my version of how people use the fib. On my fifth Ethereum, looking to buy more. On your, what do you mean? On your fifth? Like on a fifth, taking a shot of fifth? You're going to drink a fifth so you can have the stomach to buy it? Oh, I think Ethereum's got a big move coming. I don't think it's done diddly squat yet. I really don't. For retail, they want to give us the old switcheroo to liquidate the longs, grab liquidity, then hire Bitcoin as the Latina chick. Oh, I agree with that. I agree with that. I mean, this is why we started out and said, where's the right spot? I don't know if XRP is going to test it. Not in this particular setup. 75 seems impossible. But if it breaks this setup, if it breaks this and it actually comes down, and forget this setup for a second. And this is the little channel that it's formed. So we're going to try to have all the evidence in front of us when we're making a decision here. You can even do something like this, but I don't think this is appropriate technicals. I mean, I guess it could be. If you want to do it like that, I guess you could do it like that. But I've always tried to represent a little wick low and then where it ends up touching. So that's why I always try to find these. Like we had that little wick, and it kind of fits pretty nicely there. So I think it represents a little bit of a tug there. But now, obviously, some would say, well, Tom, you have a resistance here, or you came down to a wick. You came down to another wick. So shouldn't you be... Sure, we could do it like that, but does it really make that big of a difference if we're being honest? If it breaks this setup, you're going to want to know the totality anyhow. But even that's not what I'm looking at. That's what I mean. Like, we're not looking at any of that yet. I'm not. The only thing I'm looking at right now is if we break down because $1.37 didn't come back yet, that was the tactical move out of the cup and handle, to break above that. We didn't break above the handle now. We got rejected, even though we came all the way up to $1.60 and some change, $1.63. We never came all the way up to the technical breakout of some of these patterns. We came at the technical target out of this consolidation, out of that pennant flag. We absolutely did. That was at 149. And then when we got to 160, I said, this could be the spot on Friday when we were in real time, that this is where we could get beaten up and we could come back down to retest if we don't hold $1.37. And right now, that's where we're at right now. We're trying to figure out if we're going to come down a little bit farther here, or if we're going to retake $1.37. The total crypto market cap leaves some to be desired as well, because if you look at it from 21's perspective, there is definitely a retest that could happen, but at the same time, maybe that's just it. Maybe we just finally came out of this pattern, but how often do we say when we break out that we come back and retest? It happens quite often. It's almost impossible not to retest those gaps. So if you want a further bounce, do I see the total crypto market cap dropping 17%? I don't necessarily hope that that's the case, but if you get a 17% drop in the market cap, you're going to get that correction we're talking about on every single one of these currencies, or cryptocurrencies, if it happens. You would absolutely get Ethereum down. If that's the case, man, if we're patient and we could get these bounces, imagine Ethereum comes back to that 3,096. Or Ethereum has to come back to like the 3,200, which at this point doesn't even... Let me look at this from a different direction real quick. So we've got the shorter tug. We've got the uptrend. We got that 3,037. Let me get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of all the noise real quick. And I'm looking at Ethereum for a reason, because they minted on Ethereum. And last time, remember we had the we minted on Ethereum, right? Dropped all the way down from 3,446 all the way down to 3,045, just to bounce back to 3,506. Now, to me, the problem with that bounce right there is it signifies that the resistance is still strong. And if the short-term support falls, that is not even a support. This is just something we created on the drop today. It could come all the way back down and reevaluate the pattern, which if you look at it and if it's in an inverse setup, which would be very bullish, it came up, started doing this, came up. If that's an inverse head and shoulders, you probably would come down and do something like that and have a violent V. But at the same time, this is all speculation because we came down to that support. And if it holds right here, that could be the bottom of this consolidation. That's why this is so tough. We never had the back test here. Oh, me too. My bags say hold. My spot bags say hold, and you have no problem. But the leverage position says, Tom, if you do this wrong, you know, how many times do you want to get stopped out of a position before it reverses? And for me, one's enough. Especially when I still think this position needs to reverse. Ethereum's the one that I'll probably slap myself for at 2,998 because I was speculating on XRP at the same time, which I shouldn't be doing. I should have just bought the Ethereum at 2,998 or 3,298 and just let it roll. But we know there's the minting. We know minting has happened. Bitcoin at 97K. And I appreciate everybody who's listening to me delegate here. Because it's not that I don't think we're going to continue breaking out. It's just the way we did this. It's leaving a lot to be desired right now. Let me get rid of this. And the fact we came through there. Now 97,369. We seem to be coming through. If we look at this from the grand scale. You got something like this. A nice ascending formation. Where would the test be on Bitcoin? 94,782. That seems to be the consensus. 94,801. Somewhere around there if we do get a tug down. Oh, they are definitely winding up the media that it's going to happen this week. They're definitely winding the media up. I would like to just say we could reverse from here. I would like to say that. Well, obviously we got to pay attention here. See if this is the spot. It very well could be the spot. Looking for a local bottom on AMP 0.00444. Hey, John, thank you for being part of Tom's Army for 41 months now. That's incredible with the Diamond Hands badge. Looking for a bottom on AMP. I mean, I got to get rid of some of these. I got so much stuff on here. Quant is one, too, that maybe, just maybe, Quant would be one that I would look at as well. Anyhow, AMP is at 4945. It had a little bit of a move the last couple days. And AMP is back testing the one of the, see, this is where it's difficult. A lot of these are back testing the first the layer breakout. And if you look at it in totality, we have this layer. And with AMP, it's so freaking weird because it comes up and it wicks so quick. We also have a layer here, I believe it is, that it's created. But if we look at it in totality, it's back testing right now. A very key level. It's at 4.9. If it falls through here, you'd be looking at about 4.1 approximately. But everything is back testing in an interesting way. Like I could see the market moving here as much as I could see it dropping one more little layer. I could. I really could. It almost feels like they're giving you that kick in the chops right now. And that's why a lot of times you say when you have a market like this, the spot traders who are just in and waiting, XRP back above 137 needs to close the hour. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And we're about 3 minutes away on the hourly. And it looks like we're treading water still a little bit. It's going to the hourly. 137 would be big because that's the cup and handle layer. That was the handle resistance, remember. That's why it's so important. Now, if we can flip it to support, we could be looking at a whole nother dynamic here. But that $1.37 was the cup and handle target. That $1.18 was the handle target. So the cup is, I mean, we've done what we need to do here. The cup and what we needed to do here, I mean, we've basically done it for XRP. We know it was $1. That's what I mean. That $1.37 is everything. You don't even need to worry about this right now. You know, we don't need to worry about any of these. Like this already made the bounce. But what you're worried about is that $1.37 back test right now. So you break out of the cup and handle. You go up to $1.63. And now we're back testing it, the cup and handle breakout at $1.37. That's exactly what we're testing right now. It's exactly what we're testing. If that doesn't hold, we can come back and finally retest the 123. Looks like a little bit of a... It's really set us up here in a stingy spot. We're really in a stingy spot right now because everything is either on that back test or it's going down to test areas we have not done yet. Ethereum is another big part of this. Maybe that's like an inverted hammer playing out now in the daily. 4 hourly looks bearish. On this 4 hour candle, we could still do some damage, but we haven't even got back above 340 yet, which was the wick exhaustion on the last candle. Which is interesting that it's taken 3 hours and we haven't been able to do anything there. Now, this is where I keep objectively looking on that support, and I keep pointing at Ethereum just because they minted it on the Ethereum network. And the last time we had a big drop, and then we had the big rise, even after an initial drop. So it was almost like the same setup as here. Then we all thought we were going to go up, and then we still had another 5 to 10% correction beyond what we have done here. And then it was a perfect opportunity. I think if it goes up, I'll be content with my spot positioning here. I'm content being up $445 in spot trade or in the leverage trading in the community. But at the same time, I'm looking for a snipe here. And if I'm going to have a snipe, it's got to come down to consolidation. This would just be poor. This would be a poor buy by me if I do it here. So I'm going to wait to see if we do this further consolidation. I'm going to my dad's a little bit. So I'll let it do what it's going to do. And if I notice throughout the day that, hey, it came down or XRP. Ooh, there's the hourly. It was like right on the cusp. It was like just, it didn't close above it. It was right there. It's right there. It closed just below it, which one could look at it as a bearish bias back down to 124. Or some could say, hey, it just missed. It just missed the hour close. But that could be a bearish signal. Yeah, I know. It closed just below it at 136.8. Depending on the chart. One was like 136.38. One was 136.7. And one was 136.8 and some change. If it breaks 137, we come back up to retest the drop point. The pattern resistance up here that's been formed. Here, let me show you guys. So if we go back up from here, we have to retest resistance now. So we had resistance 1 on an attempted breakout, failed. All right, now we would have to go to resistance 2, which would probably get us somewhere where X marks the spot at around $1.48. And then if you look at it from the bottom, we've had a couple hits on support so far. Depending on where you would create this. I'm creating this in my own image. So hit 1. What now? It only lets me do it once and I got to clone it. Hit 2. $1.27. So it's come close. Like I said, it's come very close to backtesting that $1.23. But now this uptrend here as well, if this is a rising, like kind of like a channel here that it's formed, which it might not be, that could get you down to $1.15. So we're really in a weird spot. And the fact that close under $1.37 is not always the greatest thing. Ethereum couldn't get over 3,330 either on that little candle on the hourly, which is where I would have liked to have seen it break. So this is great analysis here that we're doing together. If you appreciate what I do, consider joining Tom's Army. I know it's on a downward spiral today. But the bottom line is I could really use your support. If you really appreciate what I do, make sure to hit that like button and share this on YouTube. You can always send a YouTube super chat. And if you're looking to trade crypto, I would definitely pay attention to this. If we get another drop and you're not in or you're not situated like you would like, pay attention to this. If you go into the video description below and our pinned comments or on my homepage, BITUNIX is my favorite exchange, and I'll lay it out how I have things. There's a few things that I've not told the audience that I hold because they're smaller plays on different things that I hold. So on BITUNIX, I have my, what do I have on BITUNIX? I have AMP, and I think that's it on BITUNIX right now. I have AMP, and then I do my leverage. But I like to do a lot of the swing trading here because the fees are so low. In comparison, on HOTCOIN, I have my HBAR and VELO, which are doing great. And And they have no KYC or VPN on BITUNIX or HOTCOIN unless you're sending or receiving from a bank account. On Crypto.com, I have a slew. I have XLM, I have VeChain, I have ZIL, and I have DGB. Those are the 4 I've shared with my audience. I also have 2 more on Crypto.com that are more speculative in a sense. And I have IOTX and VThor. So the VeChain, brainchild of VeChain, basically, or if you want to look at it on the VeChain network. And then on IOTA, I have IOTX. Sold my 1 Ethereum, bought XRP at the dip. I mean, it's interesting. That's an interesting flip. That's a very interesting flip. Could have come back to 42. I watch every day. Yep. I wish I would join. I just don't. No, you don't need to join. Just, I like you being here, Chris. Just hit that like button and share this. Yeah, I have 132,200 VThor, and I have. Wait a minute. But yeah, you can follow through there. And Crypto.com has the Visa debit card, and that's where I'm verified so that I can do my stuff that I need to in the USA without dealing with a bunch of BS. Gary Gensler messing with my stream. Hey, I wouldn't doubt it. But here, let me go into my Crypto.com. And when I started this portfolio on Crypto.com, it was at 7,000, 6,500. And obviously some of it took a hit today because we're consolidating. But I have on here, let's see. I have 11,222 Stellar at 8 cents. I have 300,222 DGB at 0.0068. I've got 101,222 ZIL at 1.51. I've got 30,222 IOTX at 3.87 cents. I thought it was a little lower than that. I forgot I bought more. Dumb. VeChain, I have 20,222, and that was at about 2.6. VThor token, I have 142,220, and that was basically just a little bit below where it's at. I was up 22%, but now it lost 10.5%, so you can do the math. But yeah, that's where I sit. And I like the Crypto.com for the Visa card. And then obviously they have some stuff that I want. And in the USA, it just makes it a little bit easier, tiny bit easier for me being verified for when I do all my stuff at the end of the year. But look at this. Remember we said 3,030 Ethereum couldn't get over. That wasn't a good sign. XRP not getting over $1.37 on the hourly wasn't a good sign. We've got the targets below if it wants to come to it. That's why I came on and did this live, everybody. I wanted to come on so you could see what I was feeling. And so that we could go through the emotions together. I am not buying XRP in this price. I bought it at 34 cents. This is so far over my price range. You can buy it whenever you want. I'm not a financial advisor, but all I'm going to say here is that $1.23 has not been back tested. And I've been pointing to it since this live started. I fought with myself not to buy a leverage trade with Ethereum and XRP because I wanted to see the in totality the way this is going. I am betting my money on a double dip. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I can't help it. It's not that I want to feel that way. It's just looking at the setups. And even Bitcoin is telling us 94,000 and some change. It needs to come down and test. I said yesterday, if it lost 97,369 in that morning live, that was kind of our last stand. That 98,000 and some change was something for the hold. But if you lost this, then the odds are you're coming down here tonight. And wouldn't it be perfect if it came down at 94,800 and everybody's like, oh, Bitcoin's runs over. And then that happens. Told you, Tom, yesterday it will fall fast. Okay. It will fall fast because it's retesting. And we've talked about it if it came down. If it didn't get past 160, we knew we were going to be in for a little bit of pain. Because 137 would have had to be hit. If that falls, then 124. If that falls, then 115. If that falls, 91. And thank you so much for Prism for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And I agree with you. I remember your comment yesterday. That's why we pointed out if it came below and didn't break that 160 and then it came below, It could open up the fireworks to the downside. That was our big thing on Friday, too, we were talking about. How that 160 could be that downward push. But it was either going to be 137 was going to hold. It didn't. And we got that rejection on the hourly. Now it's, do we come down to 125 or 126 or 124? We're coming down under $1, maybe 62 cents. It's possible. It's possible. It could very well dump all week too. That's the thing. Like, we had overzealous pushes in the markets. Oh no, it was snowing at my house, but this is just the background that I put on. That's my TV actually behind me. But I put this cool background so it looks like I'm looking out my window. I like doing this during Christmas. No, guys, listen though. Everybody thinking we're just going to drop off completely. You got to pay attention to the optics here this morning. Tether, and it usually takes about 2 to 3 days, 48 to 72 hours. You can say 24 to 72, but 48 to 72. Tether minted $2 billion in USDT on the Ethereum network. That's going to play a factor here. Oh, I know. Doesn't it look like it's snowing 24 hours a day at my place? I wish, like this. I think it looks cool, though. It makes me calm. When I see it in my background, it makes me calmer. I'm not going to lie. So, AI summary. Tether's recent minting of 2 billion USDT on Ethereum highlights its continued dominance as a stablecoin provider and its strategic approach to maintaining a robust presence across multiple blockchain platforms. Or, isn't this just the way that we artificially push up the market? Liquidation heat map for Bitcoin while we're together. Because I'm going to have to bring this to an end in a little bit. It's already 10:10 now. Wow. I started about, I don't even know, probably close to an hour ago. We took out the liquidity down here, though. Remember these big liquidity zones? You don't leave these open. And then if we want more liquidity, look at 94. Let's say we come down and retest 94. There's a lot of liquidity down here, too, for further pushes up. But now look what we've created at 100K for short traders. Massive amounts of liquidity once you come up here. Massive. Anything around 99,000, you're going to get tons of liquidity. 492 million is at 100,000. So you got a lot of people setting up shorts there. And then you've got a lot of liquidation. So if Bitcoin did come up to 107, you would destroy a bunch of people. Coming down to 94, you'd get rid of all the longs. So, and it's funny when you look at this objectively, how it looks from a standpoint like this. The crypto fear and greed is correcting some. It was all the way up to 94. Now it's back down to 90. It's still extreme greed, but it was up to 94. I think it was 98. No, all these are liquidations. It's just the white is heavier liquidations. So the darker you see it in that white color, the higher the liquidation level. The purple, the lower. Purple is a little bit lower, 177. Pink gets up there a little bit more. But yeah. But yeah, if you're somebody who's you've never looked at it like that, if you guys are looking to enter off a retest since it won't, I got to see what that says. But yeah, retest since it won't come back down. Yeah, the spot to look at would be the retest. And we've got a lot of liquidation up here. So if you just think Bitcoin's going to fall off, I find it hard to believe they're going to leave all. Remember when we talked about this before? There's 492 million just at 100,000 on short liquidations. Long liquidation just got hammered. 14 million in longs got taken out just in the last couple hours. And I'm not talking about stop losses. I'm talking about liquidated fully positions. These are liquidations. These aren't stop outs. So that's on Bitcoin. And that's why I said on Bitcoin that 94,000 area is in play. We haven't back tested it. It is absolutely in play down at 94,800. And I circled where that target was on the push up. And it had an overzealous run up, but it never retested. It's just like XRP. Overzealous run up. And it never retested its own principles, which is why we had to come back down. We had this gap here that was alarming at $1.26. And the funny thing is we actually filled that gap. That's why I don't know if it's going to come down to the rest of the way or if that $1.27 area was appropriate. Because if it comes down farther than that, and let's say you do come to $1.15, but I think $1.24 would be more realistic. But look, if it comes down here, and then it comes up here and does, you could very well start to look at a rug pull scenario here. And I would hate for a rug pull, but with $2 billion in Tether, I don't think the rug pull is quite here yet. Even if we're going to get it, we're not even close to how long the typical cycle is. But remember XRP in 21, it had a 10-day run, and that was it. It had a 10-day run from 52 cents to $1.98, and it was over. There was no retracements like we've had here, though. That was literally a straight up, basically, for 10 days. Now, it's corrective phase now. Like XLM went all the way up, and it never backtested anything. Now it's layering. Now it's finally could have been rounded. And now, is this a potential for it? So much in front of us. Marquise, thank you so much for not only being part of Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And I know it's your first month because that's my face superimposed on that emoji badge. But also, the $20 donation said, glad to be a part of the Army. Also, thanks for the entry update. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm having a tough time here because I could see the scenario where you could enter from a point of leverage and try to take a gamble. But at the same time, we haven't had any of these back tests. So that's what makes me nervous. That we needed a back test. And which is why I'm not openly jumping in a leverage position right now. I mean, look at this. The logical back test here even, you could say is either 65 or you could say it came up just a tiny bit higher. And maybe it was something like this. So you got a two-layer back test here for the total crypto market cap of XRP. It's either 69 billion or 66 roughly. 69 would be better felt. I mean, I don't really, there's a Telegram, but it's not like I openly use it as much as I used to. It's not like it used to be. We had too many people ruin it. So they took my own personal passion for it away, which is why we don't have a Discord either, because people, took down a good thing. They you know how people are. So now there's not really, I mean, you can go in there, but it's not like it used to be. I'll be honest. People took it apart, and then I focused more on my personal stuff. You can only try so hard when it comes to certain things, and then, unfortunately, we live in a society where we have the haves and the have-nots, and the have-nots try to ruin it for the ones who are actually building a long-term potential. So the have-nots ruin that. Let's just put it that way. But I mean, anybody's welcome to join it. It's right there, and if I see a bunch of participation, I will definitely do that. The additional content for ones who join Tom's Army, I'll put stuff out every so now and then, but I like to do this for the general populace. And I feel like if you're only joining for extra content, I like the pay it forward mentality. I think I put out damn good content, and I'm here so often that if you want to join Tom's Army because you respect what I do, and you want to pay appreciation for the time I put in, that's one thing, but I'm not going to beg anybody. And I'm certainly not going to say, oh, you join Tom's Army so you get this special privilege. That's not who I am. So if you want to do it by the pay it forward mentality like I live my life, that's one thing. But if you're joining Tom's Army just because you want something over and above, I'm not the right person. I'm not somebody who's going to push something just so you have to pay to get something somebody else who's poor can't get. I was poor for almost all my life growing up. So, until I figured it out in my early to mid 30s, now at 40, I'm blessed, but I would never take that ability away from somebody who can't afford to join Tom. So I'm not going to hold information. That's just what I'm doing. George, wow. Not only been in Tom's Army for over 1 year, sends his first YouTube super chat and says, I got to read that. That's incredible. $50 donation. Wow. For today? Good to catch a live one. Keep up the good work. Thank you for that $50. That threw me off. All the couple donations here during this live actually threw me off because I wasn't expecting it today. When the market's down, you just expect to have a good time, and we try to figure out the layers. But man, thank you so much for that. Like that one, appreciate that. The two of you that have sent it in this live. 69.2. I think 69.2 is a good spot. I'm very proud of the fact that we stuck to our guns at the beginning of this live and we said, you know what? If it pushes up, we have spot. But, you know, we see our technical spots on it. Because I always look for a pull down if I'm going to do leverage. And it's got me by the gut right now because we had a pull down and it's got this descending triangle. But I know in my heart that if it's going to do this and we have this second layer return, we're going to come down here and back test that $1.23. I know it if it comes down there. And it's showing us evidence of a topping reversal. We got a rejection at $1.37. We didn't close the hourly. Oh, yeah, I've got weekly, monthly, daily charts of XRP. I've got all charts you can think of. I was just looking at it in the short term. If you look at it from a bigger perspective, let me get rid of some of this noise now. Now that we've done, I'm going to get rid of this because we don't need any of this on here. We've got other charts. We've circled down the short movements. We'll go look at this from a longer term bias here now. This is where we thought we were going to have a massive breakout, and I kept showing the inverse head and shoulders. I circled it again, and kept circling it. The technical target out of this, we're still not even there yet. But let me get rid of these. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of some of this. Get rid of all of this. All of this doesn't matter anymore. We already broke out of all of this. So crazy to see how much we actually broke out. We were talking about this for so long. But how it's riding out of this formation. How it can't possibly have to... And we talked about how it has to have a huge move, but it always seems so unrealistic when you're looking at it well before. But I mean, I hope this was a lesson to like just pay attention to the technicals and they'll tell you everything you need to know. So if I'm looking at it from a weekly perspective here, if I'm honestly looking at this from a weekly perspective, it's kind of hard. Because again, it brings back into totality these areas. Right here, you could technically say, see that 91 cent area is there too. It's impossible from a weekly sense, so we don't have enough evidence anymore. Yeah, we didn't get above here, which is where we got that layer rejection. We're dealing with right now. So here's what we're dealing with. If you want to know the truth. See this? Came down, back up, back around, swung around. We basically filled this off right now. This area. So now it's like if you look at the cup and handle sense, you know, maybe it does come down if it has to do something like that. But we've got a long scale pattern here that... Now, could you do something like this and then swing up? Absolutely, you could. But that's a massive reversal pattern. And it's taken a very long time. Almost 7 years. But yeah, it definitely looks like a new cup. I mean, it's not a new cup in the sense that the technicals weren't already here. But if you look at it, like how it came down, you usually look at...
It's 10:23, just so you know.
Yeah, I know. I got to end this shortly. I know. Definitely going to have to end this shortly. Cobb, thank you for the $5 donation. I greatly appreciate that. But yeah, if you're looking at this, with this resistance, when we came down here to this V and came back around, we could certainly say that maybe we did form some kind of cup. And now a handle maybe down to 124, 115, or 91 could be in effect. So let's just continue to watch this consolidation. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. My son's out here. I'm going to go take care of business here. Pay attention to everything I said. Thank you all for the support. We were here over an hour on this Sunday morning, so it's very impressive. I'm going to end up... I'm going to see how it is tonight when I get back from my dad's. And maybe we can have a post-market wrap and then look at what's going to happen for the week to come. Have a blessed Sunday, everybody. And don't forget to give thanks to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.